Welcome. In front of me I have the brand new Samsung Galaxy S9 tab, and today I'll go for unboxing along with a quick overview of this tablet. So let's get straight into this. Oh, come on. There we go. So here we have our little tablet. Okay, anyway, I'm gonna set it to the side. We get our white pen, and in here we get a charging cable, and here we get our booklet along with a SIM ejector. So there we go, that's all we have in the box, so let's get this going. So this is a 11-inch display with a resolution of 1600 by 2560. It's a dynamic AMOLED display, 120 Hz refresh rate with HDR10 Plus certification, boasting about an 83% screen to body ratio and 270 pixels per inch. Now, whoops, let's actually change this to English. There we go. I'm going just a little bit through the setup just because it will in a second give me... Oh no, never mind, it won't give me the... Okay, that's actually very odd. So the S9 Ultra tells me that I need to reboot the device once I connect to... or not connect, once I choose my region. While this one didn't tell me that I need to reboot the device after selecting region, but it tells me that I need to connect to Wi-Fi, which the other one didn't need to do. Samsung, come on, what are you doing? Like, stick to one effing thing and just stick with it. Don't make me do other things on different devices just because you feel like it. Anyway, I'm gonna go to other Wi-Fi for this because apparently I don't have an other option on a device that costs probably 800 euros. Yeah, it's not my device, it's just I'm renting it. Here you go, Samsung, go screw yourself. Are you happy now? Alright, now I need to still reboot the device. Never ceases to disappoint. And that's actually that actually doesn't surprise me. What surprised me is that the S9 Ultra was a little bit more of a smooth sailing. So this one again goes back to the typical Samsung disappointment ways. Awesome. Good to know that some things don't change, like corporate greed. Anyway, let's just continue here. So, display right here is a Corning Gorilla Glass. It doesn't really specify which one. Then moving into the internals, we have a 8,400 mAh battery that is powering a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, so the newest Snapdragon, also the best one. This device at the very lowest end comes with 128 GB of storage and 8 GB of RAM, and goes up to 256 with 12 GB of RAM. Those are the only two options you have, which is a little bit of a, like a disappointment, but luckily Samsung did something that I'm not sure if they were smoking something good before that, that they decided to bring this back. But here, let me just grab this SIM ejector and show you this, because this will be very surprising. This is not a SIM tray. I mean, it is that, but it's also an SD tray. We can insert an SD card to a S device, basically. Mind-blowing, they found the space. Anyway, in a second you should be able to see the home screen, which is just a typical One UI. So this is going to be a One UI 5.1 on Android 13. Now going back to the internals, like I mentioned, we have a pretty decent battery at 8400, and surprisingly enough, this device also charges relatively fast at 45 watts. So keep in mind we didn't get the charger in a box. So if you have one, that's great. Now disappointing part number 2 is, for the most part, majority of the people will most likely have a charger, they just won't have the Type-C charger. They will have the Type-A one. So the cable that comes provided with that device will obviously not work as long as you don't have a charger like this one. As you can see, this one has a little Type-C port. So there we go. Now, anything else to mention here? I don't think so. So, oh right, one more thing, cameras. So even though this is a tablet, it does come with cameras. So on the back we have a single camera, and that is a 13 megapixel wide sensor, while at the front we have a 12 megapixel ultra wide. And that's basically it. Like I mentioned before, this device comes at about 800 euros, which obviously by no stretch of the imagination isn't cheap, but credit where credit is due, it does come with pretty decent specs. Being a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, this is basically the best one you can get. 120 Hz refresh rate display, AMOLED, which is also pretty damn nice. And at the very lowest end, it is spec'd a little bit lower than I would like it. I would expect it to have at least 256 gigs of storage, but contrary to that, we do have expandable storage, so that's also not as big of a problem. So yeah. Now, another thing that is really nice when it comes down to the Galaxy Tabs is the fact that, unlike Apple, they decide to include a pen in a box. No matter which one you go for, you always get a pen. And that pen doesn't need to be connected or anything, it just works straight out of the box, as you can see. So now, curiously, I am gonna check something else. So can I use this pen on my device? And that is a no. Only an S Pen designed for your Galaxy Fold can be used with the Galaxy Fold. Why don't you just make the damn thing work with everything then? Anyway, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. So yeah, this pen only works with, I guess, the normal tablet devices. That being said, I'm gonna check it out if it can also work with this one. So this is the Ultra, the new TV that they sell. And yeah, it just works straight out of the box. I don't need to even pair it. It automatically detects it without a problem. So yeah, it just doesn't work with Fold, because screw the fact that you spend $1,800 on your device. You also need to spend another like 50 bucks or more for the freaking pen for it. So yeah, now that's basically everything that I have to say for this device. There is one thing that I'll mention in addition that doesn't really apply to the device itself, but to the additions for it. So it does come with these little pins at the bottom and little holes. That is designed for the cover display with a keyboard, so you can just plop it on here and use it kind of like a small laptop, because this device obviously supports the DeX, Samsung DeX, which you can, I believe, enable it straight out of the box right here without any problem. Yep, so we can just start it right away. So yeah, it works like allows the device to work like a semi-laptop, giving you basically windows to deal with. You can open up multiple of them, as you can see, move them around, resize them, which might be a little bit easier with this. You also have snap features on here, which is interesting. I guess I cannot scroll this to the side, but whatever. So there we go. Now one more thing that I will check once I quit this is if this device can be used as a secondary monitor. And it does have the option second screen. So this, if I'm correct, at least previously, was utilized to basically connect your tablet to your computer and allow you to utilize this display as a second screen for your computer, which is pretty nice. Now, At 11 inches, it's on a smaller side. At 14 inches, that kind of changes the entire aspect, right? This is basically a laptop in itself. Now, just to kind of give you a size comparison between these two devices for people that might be interested, this is the Ultra, the 14-inch behemoth, and this is 11. Technically, not much difference in terms of numbers, 11, 14, but in terms of size, you can see what a big difference that is. So, that might be a little bit taller, but yeah. So this thing is absolutely enormous. So anyway, with regards to this device, it's still a pretty damn nice tablet. It is you know, packed with Samsung annoying features, and as a person that has been using Samsung for some time now, I can safely say that most of them are just kind of useless and annoy me. But in terms of hardware that you get, pretty good device. A little bit on the expensive side for a tablet, being at about 800 euros, but you still get a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, so the fastest processor so far, and a good display for that at 11 inches. So this device will probably last you several years without any kind of problem and without you even noticing that it's slowing down in any kind of way. It is basically the right now flagship of tablets. It's in its right a computer in itself. So yeah, the only disappointing part is the storage space right here being at the lowest end at 128 gigs of storage with 8 gigs of RAM, while the Ultra comes with 256 and 12 gigs of RAM and goes all the way up to terabyte and 16 gigs of RAM. This one doesn't even come close to it. This device at the highest end, which is the 256/12, comes basically to the lowest end of the Ultra. But I guess that would be probably reasonable, considering the Ultra is supposed to be the better version of this, bigger, better, and all that stuff. So in that aspect, it is. Now, hopefully you found this video helpful, informative. If you did, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.